we did this investigation, you never responded. Basically, your license is suspended for 2 years. And what's going on, everybody? This is BC. Welcome back to another video. My real estate license got suspended. I want to talk to you guys today about the story, the things leading up to it, what happened, and then what happened after. All right? Yes, it happened. I'm licensed in multiple states, as many of you know, and I'm referring to the one specifically in California. Let's get into it. So, and you're going to find this hilarious, right? How it just so happens to line up and how these things occur, right? Is it coincidence? You tell me, right? I'd be curious to hear your thoughts. So we're coming on the fourth quarter, finishing the third, getting into the fourth quarter of 2022. So this is a little bit over 2 years ago now, right? Unfortunately, I left my previous company, eXp Realty, because they attempted to censor me and tell me what I can talk about, what I can't talk about on my social media. They basically started trying to police me out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. I had been with the company for about 5 years at that point. So I'm, kind of going back and forth with them before I decide to leave. And this is my opinion now. I think because of everything that transpired in 2020 and 2021, where I was, shunned, kicked off platforms and all that, it got to a point where from a recruitment standpoint, previously me being one of the top people recruiting people to the company, that had dried up because my online reach was suppressed like 99%, they made the decision and said, hey, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. We get a lot of complaints about this dude, right? A lot of trolls hit us up and they're always complaining about him, because people always complain about me. They have from the beginning, and I think they will forever, because apparently I'm such a big problem, right? So I think that's what happened, behind the scenes, and they said, okay, it's not worth it anymore. Let's kind of, put our thumb on this guy. So they basically hit me up out of nowhere. I get an email from corporate, hey, you need to do this, and you got to take these posts down. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? So I go back and forth with corporate. Long story short, I decide to leave. When I leave, I make the video, why I left eXp Realty, right? Maybe I'll link that up here so you can watch it. That video did very well. It got 10, 15, 20,000 views. I don't know how many views it got, right? Sparked a lot of controversy. Glenn Sanford, right, the CEO, the president at the time, they all called me and I said, look guys, it's a little bit too late. Where were you when I was going through this for the last 2 or 3 weeks, going back and forth with corporate? This is ridiculous, right? So I decide to leave, and this is like fourth quarter, end of third quarter, fourth quarter, I think October-ish of 2022, right? End of September, early October. I can't remember exactly the days. Now, keep in mind, right, that time frame. Magically out of nowhere, and this first begins to happen without me knowing, they randomly and anonymously launch an investigation on me in California. I think it was within 2 or 3 days of me making that video and officially leaving eXp. Okay? Coincidence? Probably not. Now, I have no idea at the time that this is going on. Why? They're sending the mail correspondence to my ex-girlfriend's house in Southern California. Keep in mind, guys, remember, end of 2022, I'm already in Miami. I moved to Miami in May of 2021. My official address has been changed. Everything has been updated. But they're mailing the correspondence to my ex-girlfriend's house in Southern California, so I'm unaware of any of this going on. And I know there's a time limit for you to respond when you receive these correspondence, because if you don't, any investigation launched against you, right, if you guys know the rules of the realtor laws, you automatically default. And the prosecution, we can say, wins, and you automatically you give up, you throw in the towel, right? You didn't contest it. Again, I'm unaware that this is going on. So time passes, right? Time passes. Then magically, I think the end of December of 2022, going into 2023, January, end of December, early January, sometime like that, I get a letter from the Department of Real Estate in California saying, hey, we did this investigation, you never responded. Basically, your license is suspended for 2 years. And I'm sitting there in shock, like, what the hell is going on? So as I start to look through the paperwork, I realize, hey, they were sending this mail correspondence to an address in Southern California. But how is it when they came to the verdict, magically, they mail it to me in Florida? How convenient. How convenient. Okay? So I get a copy of it. Obviously, the state of California against Bryan, right? I'm kind of sitting there thinking, did an old team member do something shady? I'm thinking this is like real estate related, like maybe I did something wrong. Maybe a client came back and reported something that I was unaware of. I had no idea. So I'm scratching my head saying, Let's look at this thing. I start looking into it. Within a page or two, I literally start laughing. These people, these investigators, right? What they did was they went to an old Facebook account, which, by the way, like I mentioned earlier, I was censored, deplatformed, kicked off. This channel I couldn't upload for a long time. They demonetized it. They kicked me off Facebook. They kicked me off Instagram. You couldn't follow me. You couldn't find me. You couldn't tag me. I couldn't go live. All that stuff. That happened for years. They go to an old Facebook account, which is my business, like the Bryan Casella BC public figure page, right? Where a lot of my team members would post and tag. Hey, you know, we sold this house in California, Florida, New York, right? The nationwide team, which I still operate. And if you're interested, hit me up, right? DM me, shoot me an email, bryancasella25@gmail. I start flipping through, right? And all I notice is they're basically saying that I'm in violation of advertisement. Hey, you know, Vicenta, right? Shout out to her. A Team BC member from Southern California said, sold house, put Bryan on there, but hey, they put some information, but they were missing this piece of information, his particular address in that state. Right? They basically start nitpicking at our social media posts, saying that we're in violation. Now, with that said, I would probably venture to guess 99% of the real estate community, in some way, shape, or form, if we talk social media or advertisement, is in violation of some inconsequential detail. Fair enough if you get me on it, but get everybody on it, not just me, because you want to single me out, because that's what this is about. They're just nitpicking. Oh, it had the address, but it was missing the full zip code, right? It had the 5-digit zip code, and it needs to have the 9-digit zip code. Like ridiculous stuff like that, right? I wish I would have kept the paperwork so I could have showed you today. So I'm reading through, and it's just pages and pages of this, and they're flagging posts, and posts from like 2 years ago, not even recent, years ago. And I'm sitting there laughing. I'm like, wow, these people really sat there and targeted me. So I call even the investigators like, yeah, they for sure had it out for you, dude. Whatever, I go through it. It's finalized, right? I never responded technically because they mailed it to Southern California. So default judgment against me. Done. So suspended. Now, I thought it was interesting how as soon as I left, within 2 or 3 days it happened, how it all went down, right? They mailed the correspondence. So that's basically, in summary, the short story as to why my license in California got suspended for 2 years. I believe now, as of January 2025, you know, it's lifted, that violation. And now I'm probably gonna, you know, call the DRE over there and the Department of Real Estate and reinstate it, right? Because I still practice in California with my team. Everything is fine, by the way, if you guys are wondering. Like, that didn't really do anything. It was more just a nuisance, and then another stupid little thing that people would try to use against me. Oh, your real estate license got suspended. So without knowing the details, of course, some people on the internet were talking shit and then trying to drag my name through the mud like they always do, and they're always unsuccessful with it, right? Now, to this day, because I got censored, those people are happy because they think that whatever they say was true, and that's why, you know, my channel kind of got shunned and I don't get the viewership. I get like 99% less views than I used to. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with these platforms being biased and censoring people for no goddamn reason. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's the story about how my license got suspended. Now, how did it affect my business? Not at all. I'd already gone nationwide. I still had team members in California. I continue to have team members in California. I still have people out here. We have people in about 15 or 16 states in the continental United States. We got some agents in Canada now. We're expanding. So again, like I said, if you're interested in Team BC, let me know. But I wanted to make a point and wrap this video up like this. When you have a target on your back, stuff like this is going to happen, right? When COVID and all that stuff came out, I was shunned. I was blackballed. Why do you guys think I'm not traveling and speaking like I used to? I used to do 1 or 2 engagements a month. I got blackballed. NAR doesn't mess with me. I got emails, letters, all that happened when I got kicked off social media and all that, all within like a couple months, which is why I went from getting, you know, hundreds of thousands of views on my channel, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 views a month on this channel and more, to what am I at now? 40,000, 30, if that, like literally a 90%, 95% reduction. But that's okay. I'm not here to complain about that or say, woe is me. I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I don't care. But understand that, again, when you grow, when you guys amass a following, respect, you build a brand, even if it's based on honesty and transparency like mine has always been, be real with me in the comment section. When have I ever led you guys astray or gave you some bullshit or pushed some BS marketing scheme like a lot of these guys do? I never did. I never did. So even if you do things right, again, if you grow, you get attention, this type of stuff is going to happen and you need to be prepared for it. I prepared for COVID and all that too. I always told people from an income standpoint, if somebody tries to revoke my license or take it away, I need to make sure I can bring income and revenue in without relying on this one thing. So after I built up my real estate business for a couple of years, I diversified, traveling and speaking, the ad revenue here, the revenue share from the companies, the stock options, right? Investing in real estate, starting a coaching program, doing courses, right? Now I work with a developer, present day, right? That's another stream of income that's about to explode because that relationship is just now starting. Right? The nationwide team, I make money off of that too. So you guys need to understand that you need to play chess and be 2, 3, 4, 5 moves ahead, because any one of these things, and this is just one example of something happening to me where people were obviously targeting me. Now it could have just been coincidence, but hey, let's do the math. What do you think the odds are mathematically of that happening, right? Because like I said earlier, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, right? Because I thought this was way too crazy to be a coincidence. But understand that this is going to happen to you as you grow. You're going to be attacked. People are not going to like you. Again, even if you do everything right. Right? Like, think of the most holy figures, right? Like Mother Teresa or, Gandhi or whoever we think is super clean with their image and were perfect people. They still had probably hate groups and people who dedicated their lives at going against them or trying to, off them or whatever it is. They probably had I had people coming on my platforms and telling other people they're a dedicated BC hater. It's nuts. It's nuts. So be prepared for it. Stuff like this is going to happen. Again, I have no problem divulging this information to you guys because, like I've told you, I'm honest and transparent about everything that I do and how I move in the world and in this industry. And I knew deep down inside I didn't do anything shady. So it was either somebody doing something shady, maybe a part of my team without me knowing, or this circumstance where it was just a bunch of BS. Because if they put everybody else under the magnifying glass on those terms that they charged me on and suspended my license, I'm telling you, 99% of agents would be in violation because they were nitpicking, like the zip code thing. How ridiculous is that? Who puts the 9-digit zip code on their address? Nobody does that. So technically everybody's in violation, right? But when they want to pin something on you, they will. That's the scary part, all right? So be prepared, stay a step ahead, make sure you're playing chess while they're playing checkers, and live your life correctly, because when you base your life and live your life and run your businesses on principles and a code like I do, at the end of the day, you're gonna win. I continue to win, Team BC continues to win, and everything that we do and what we push out, the message, everything continues to be a force that cannot be stopped and cannot be reckoned with. All right, appreciate you guys tuning in. That's the story about how I got one of my licenses in California suspended. Be curious to hear your thoughts. Leave a thumbs up, share this video, and let people know what really happened. All right, peace.